Welcome, one and all. It's Wednesday night. It's String Theory. And there you go. Good night.
You do it yourselves.
We are here, and we are without Chris. So, I figured in lieu, that's a legal term, in lieu of doing the normal opening where we would play canned music and do a thing and the stuff and the production and the blah blah blah, just play the guitar, because that's what I do. Boucher guitars, Levy's leather straps, G&G music, Citadel music in Halifax, Brickhouse guitars, K&K sound, Gallery guitars. I am heading down to Gallagher next week. Gonna be there. I should, where's my phone?
I'm not sure.
I should take this opportunity to tell you that during the trip, there's going to be some interesting things going on to the Gallagher trip. We're going to stop and see my buddy, Eli Patrick, in Kentucky. Me and Sudsy Baker going with me. He's flying into Boston. We're going to go on the trip together. And then, on the 24th of May, we're going to play at the Depot in Norman, Oklahoma, where I was last year and had a fantastic show there. We're going to be doing a workshop in the afternoon, I believe, and a concert that night. And then the next night, the 25th, in Oklahoma City, we're going to play a renowned folk venue called the Blue Door, which has everybody's played there. Gonna be in there on the 25th, and then the 27th, we're gonna be performing. I'm gonna be at the Gallagher Guitar Shop with Jim Hurst playing for the Gallagher celebration, and then I'm gonna be filming some videos for them the next day, and then we're gonna drag our sorry asses back here to Nova Scotia. So that's big. That's big news. So, after Gallagher, we got Recording King. We got Alvarez Yeri, which is a lot of things going on there now. There's a guitar being built for me as we speak, coming from them. Yamaha Music Canada. The FG9 is on its way to me for review, as well as a CPX 1200, which is the Dreadnought cousin to the APX that I haven't reviewed yet, but will very shortly. James Martin Instruments in Ireland, my buddy. Love you. Cody Guitars now have the amp in the studio, so now we're going to be able to review that guitar. Custom electric he built for me, which is absolutely incredible. D'Addario Canada, thank you so much. The Arc, Apollo Picks, Epiphone Gibson. A new Gibson going to be reviewed in the next month or so. Close Guitars. Again, those guys are on fire. We got to get another, I think I'm going to try to get the hybrid in this summer to review, because they make a hybrid version of a carbon guitar that's incredible. Blue Chip Picks, thank you very much. Tone Slab! LR Bags, love you guys. We're going to review the speaker we have here. There's some pedals I got to look at. There's a lot going on this summer for reviews. Maestro Hosen Guitars from Singapore. He just had an immensely successful trip to North America with his new line of Hosen guitars that blew people away. George Crackett, release the Crackett. My buddy, down in Albany, New York, he's building guitars. He's getting orders out. The Yin Yang was texting him like half an hour ago. He's doing great because of you guys. Thank you for that. And last but not least, our favorite charity that we've already been to this week and filmed a really beautiful video down there, the Nova Scotia SPCA, and a matter and a cause very dear to our hearts here. And we have doggos running about. They're all, Jack and Jill are in here somewhere.
Jill's under my feet and Jack's under the credenza.
Oh, Jack's under his normal spot underneath the credenza. This is where he co-produces all my records and has for 11 years. So, yeah. And we're glad to be with you. Glad to be with you. I've been having a semi-midlife crisis lately about touring and playing. And I think this afternoon I came to the decision that I'm gonna have a sex change.
What now?
No, I've started to get excited again about going out on the road, and this trip is with Baker coming up is got the juices flowing a little bit again. The last tour kicked the living shit out of me. I cannot lie. And they kicked the crap out of all of us, me and Dave and Jake and everybody. It was a long run in bad weather and bad time of year, and it was a bit depressing. So the music wasn't. The music was incredible. The new album with Gunning is just, it's amazing. We sold a tremendous amount of records on the tour. And David and I will be all over the friggin' map this summer. We're going to be in California and out west again, and it's just nuts. I think there's more gigs this year for Gunning and Cormier than there is for us individually, which is rather impressive, if I do say so myself. And tonight I'm enjoying a Puck Off lager. Puck Off.
Did you get a Lauderdale?
Puck off, Lauderdale. Puck off. Hey, puck right off. Brewed right here in Shelburne, Nova Scotia. So, now that I've wasted all of your time for 10 minutes, which was a power play on my part,
when is the SPCA video coming out?
It's almost edited. I got to put one more. I got to put the theme music in it. That's it, and it'll be uploaded
for Friday, maybe
tonight or tomorrow. Whenever we put it up, it'll be up. So it was fun too. Those people are fantastic, and they got a lot going on over there.
We had to play with the puppies.
What's that?
And we got to play with the puppy.
Yes, we did. At least one puppy, mm-hmm. Carl, the puppy. So yeah, and I want you guys to know that we appreciate you helping us, so we can help them. I took all the money from the Amazon guitar thing, and Chris and I put extra money in ourselves, and we gave it all to them. And it's a good video. It's really cool. You'll like it. Not the normal guitar stuff with John, but as I told them down there, there was 5 years, in fact, that my life on the road was made 1,000 times more enjoyable by Jack being with me. And if he wasn't so old getting old here now, he'd probably still be with me. But it was just dogs and cats and pets in general, but especially dogs and cats. They alter our lives for the better. And I've heard hundreds of stories from people who only got through the pandemic because they had pets, and it gave them a reason to get up in the morning and live their lives, and they had comfort from that, and we all do. So For me, dogs especially. We have 2 cats as well, who I love to death. But animals give the same comfort as far as I'm concerned as music does.
Jack.
And he's under the credenza.
He's licking his feet.
Yeah, he just cleaned his toes.
Stabbing me in the brain.
He's like, yeah, I'm just waiting until maybe Dad will put a little guitar track down and I can critique it. Jack is an old Jewish man, by the way, as you probably already know. Anyhow, love you guys. And the first Christian goes to...
it's a highlighted chat from Jeff Gallant.
Jeff Gallant, my buddy. I love you, buddy. I missed you. I haven't seen you for a while. We're going to get together soon.
Well, his comment will fix that. He
Okay.
says, welcome back, lady and the gents. My friends and I are planning a trip to Stanfest. Hope to make it and see you all there. Hope Chris behaves himself.
Absolutely not. He never behaves himself. But yeah, that sounds fantastic, man. I was just talking to Troy a couple of days ago. He's supposed to contact me shortly with some...
scheduling?
Yeah, well, not scheduling, but some content ideas that he's working on. So hopefully we'll hear from him soon and see what's up his sleeve, because there's always something up his sleeve. Usually his arm, but, other things too. Next.
Usually some good surprises at Stanfest.
Yes. Next.
We have a super chat from Sib Dad.
Sib Dad. Sweet.
You mentioned on an earlier show you were in a guitar shop in Canmore, Alberta during the tour.
Yes.
They often carry guitars from a local builder, Hawkstone Guitars. Did you happen to play one?
Never heard of it. I didn't see it in there at all. The only thing I saw in there that, as we spoke about on that show, was River Song, which was incredibly disappointing. But, yeah. Anyhow, yeah, no, I never saw them. But I'd like to. I'm interested in seeing any, especially Canadian builders, working with Blackwood Guitars now to develop a new instrument with him, actually. He's working on right now. And, yeah, it's going to be cool. That, and, Boucher, I'm proud to say that I have a Norman that's sitting at the store waiting for me right now that was ordered in from another province. Because Robin and I have been talking about it, that was his uncle. And the new Norman guitars are quite impressive. So that's sitting there waiting for me to bring back here and review. And, yeah, anybody that builds guitars in Canada, I'll talk to anybody. I don't care, but they got to be they got to be good. They got to be good. We are very picky here. Well, I am. Sorry. But, yeah.
Sounds like they're local to Canmore, so maybe next time you're back there.
Yep. I'd love to meet them and play their instruments and give my honest opinion. That's all I can do. Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. But it's all I can do. Anyhow. Next.
A highlighted chat from Jim Hanlon.
Jimmy, Triple J. Love you, Jimmy.
He says, good evening, Ginger, JP, Chris, and patrons. Chris
Sweet.
might be watching from New York. We're not really sure.
Yeah, well, Coots like that. He's
They're having Portuguese food at our
probably
favorite
out in
restaurant.
the street there, plying his trade on the street corner with his purse and his whatever.
Eating.
Okay, next.
Meat off a hot stone. Fresh butter.
Bastard.
So good. Restaurant's so
Boy, that Maestro guitar looks so pretty in the side, doesn't it?
good. Isn't it?
Way to go, Hosen. Hosen Young. What a guitar builder. Lovely man.
I got a super chat from CMAF.
Ooh, that's different.
Nope.
No? Shit. Okay, go ahead.
Here's a $5 to get started on recording Cormier and Gunning's greatest hits.
We don't have any.
Sure you do.
No, we don't yet. Maybe someday. Next.
Super chat from Jamie Reed.
Jamie Reed.
How are you, JP? That guitar is stunning.
I love that thing. I love that thing. It has some imperfections in it that Robin saw immediately, but the sound of it is unbelievable. But Hosen is one of the world's greatest guitar builders, and his what is the word I'm looking for? Not a mandate, but his motto, I guess, is much the same as builders like Robin and David Mathis, and he's got a small crew of men that work with him, and he's continually evolving. This guitar, I love this instrument. It's absolutely amazing. It's made out of bleeding heart mahogany, bound in maple. It's a masterpiece instrument. There are some little tiny cosmetic things about it that you'd have to look at with a magnifying glass to see that they are pumping these out pretty fast. But you can't fault the sound of it or the playability or any of those things. It truly is exactly what Hosen intended, which was to build boutique style guitars that don't cost boutique prices, and he's doing that in spades. And I mean, I played this guitar and my Crackit for the whole tour, basically, that we just did. Neither one of those guitars failed ever. They were flawless. This and the George Crackit, every night on stage, that was using both guitars. They're like it's really cool how many builders there are right now. And I say this a lot. I mean, how many builders there are in the world right now that are making just unbelievable guitars for way less money than you'd think that you'd pay for an instrument of that quality and an instrument of George Crackit's quality. And even Robin is way below what U.S. prices are for similar instruments that he's building. And again, I've said this a million times on this program and on the channel in general. It's a wicked time to be a guitar player, you know, and a guitar lover. You don't even have to be a great player. You can be a beginner or an intermediate player or whatever you want, as long as you're playing. But you know, if you invest, you know, a couple $1,000, maybe $3,000 or whatever you have, you can get a guitar that's going to go in your will. It'll last you the rest of your life, and it's an instrument that will, you know, sustain years, decades, and just have to have the normal wear and tear repair that goes on with guitars, you know. And there's so many companies doing it. It's just, I love it. I love that world. I sit here in this room and look around at. I always have 30 or 40 guitars in here, like just, and I marvel at how many of them didn't cost 10 grand that sound like they do. So that's awesome. Anywho, my little rant. Next.
More of a comment, I guess, from Rod Stafford.
That's new.
It is.
Rod Stafford, welcome to String Theory. Right. Thank you very much, sir. You are the man.
Hi, JP. My first time being able to view live and chat. I have a bone to pick with you. I've been watching for over a year, and because of you, I bought a Boucher BG52. Now I don't get any fucking work done.
As would be the case. Yeah. Once you have a Boucher, it's kind of hard to put those things down. I was just playing my signature model before the show started. I'm starting to work on the Long River Volume 2 for Gordy, and I was playing the Mona Lisa before the show started. It's I have, as I said, I have the choice of around 35 or 40 guitars in this room right here. That was the one that I picked up, that I wanted to use as the tool and the vehicle to work on the particular Lightfoot song I was doing. And you can't put them down. They're infectious. It sounds so good and they play so easy that it's hard to put them down. It's like, okay, well, I got that much done. How much more can I get done? You'll see a huge spike in your progress as a player when you get a great instrument. Doesn't matter if it's a Boucher or high-end Yamaha, or even a 16, an L6, L16, a Hosen, a Gallagher, a high-end Epiphone, whatever. When you get that guitar that inspires you, man, it's hard to put it down. And that's another part of the beauty of the thing I was just saying a moment ago. It's the best time in the world right now to be a guitar player. It's unreal. So, yeah, good on you. I hope you enjoy it. I know it's a great guitar. I have one. It's a fucking monster. The Rocket. There you go. Care next.
Mm-hmm. Super chat from Colin Dolan.
Colin Dolan. Back again for more punishment.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the new Cordoba stage nylon guitar? What do you think?
I play a Cordoba. That's my gut string of choice, and I love it. It's one of the best classical guitars I've ever played. And
have you seen the new ones?
I know, but I know they're awesome because mine's awesome. I only paid about, I think, $1,800 for it, and it's a monster. And the reason I got it was because I have a very, very valuable handmade Ramirez that Lightfoot signed. It resides in the case. I never take it out, hardly ever. I recorded with it for years. I love the gut string for certain things, in the studio when I'm working and doing things. And the Cordoba was it's a workhorse, and it sounds absolutely fantastic, especially plugged in. There's a really good pickup system in it. So, yeah, I have no qualms at all about recommending that brand name to anybody who's looking for a gut string of any kind. And they make them, you can buy them for $800 or $5,000. Like there's a range of them. So they make guitars that are just, rough and tumble for road work, or if you want that high end, unbelievable luthier handmade thing, they have that as well, and everything in between. So I can't endorse them enough. I love them. So I'll look for the new one too. I'll check to see what the specs are on that. Next.
Super chat from Terry Short.
That's new.
She's got a little Betty face.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
Hi JP, what do you think of the AER 60 TE amp?
So I've used AER amps numerous times in my career, and I love the sound of them, but the problem I encountered with them is that they are so beautiful sounding that they don't have enough penetration. If you're playing with other people, right? The only thing that I've ever used that has it never lets you down is the Fishman, because it doesn't sound as good as the AER. There's no way it doesn't. It's close, but it doesn't have the beautiful AER. In my opinion, is probably the best sounding acoustic amp you can buy. But it's really overpriced. They're $3,500. A Fishman Artist Loudbox is $800. And honestly, the AER is more fragile than the Fishman. And the AER doesn't have enough oomph in it. If you're using it in even a small ensemble, it starts to just die off. It just doesn't have the penetration. Like, you can crank that Fishman up and just cut through everything on stage. And that's what I like. I like to have enough power. And the Fishman has tons of it. I run my Fishman with the Master at 12, and the gain at 1, and it's blowing the head off everybody on stage. That's how much power it has, right? The AER, while it sounds better than the Fishman and sounds more refined and more finessed than the Fishman.
Polished.
Yeah, polished. That's a great word. Yeah, it just doesn't have the balls that the Fishman's got. But I love them. If I knew I was, if I had the money to spend that kind of money on an amplifier again, because I've done it twice. I've bought and sold them twice. I'd buy one just to have when I know I'll never be on stage with anybody else. It'll just be me and the amplifier. And that would be fine. That'd be actually quite incredible because they sound that good. But even like playing with Dave, I wouldn't like the AER. It doesn't have enough clarity when it has to interact with another sound source on stage. It gets eaten up. And I don't know why. And it doesn't matter because I think personally the AERs are designed for one player. That's why Tommy uses them, is because he's alone, right? He hardly ever plays with anybody else. And so, and he also uses a vast amount of EQ. He has a rack on stage that the amp is sitting on. So he's going through the rack, all the EQ, all the tricks he has, and then it goes into the amp and comes out. So he's barely using the circuitry in the amp anyway. But I'm quite sure as well that he could do just as good with just the amp. But it's just him. It's only him. He's the only moving part on stage. And that's where the AER shines with like nothing I've ever heard. I think they're the best sounding acoustic amp that's being made and always have been. But they're just not for me in my particular setting. I can't get along with them as well as the they're not dependable enough sonically as the Fishman is. Fishman's always the same. You just put it on, turn it up, and go. And yeah, one day I'll have another one. I'll probably buy another one in the next few years, just to have it. And I really would have it just when I know I'm on a tour where I'm by myself on my own. Oh yeah, that'd be incredible. They sound, and they're lighter than the Fishman, and they're smaller, and they're more compact. They're like 60 watts or whatever it is. They're very good, very very good amps. Yeah, absolutely. So next.
Super chat from Stephen Baker.
Stephen Becker, my soon-to-be road partner.
Mm-hmm. JP's bundled up like he's rushing to get away. Feel free to stay a while.
Oh no, it's cold here.
Also, you're wearing a cat with a.
Oh yeah, let me show my cat.
A murderous cat. Probably not real great for.
What?
The internet.
Yeah. The cat holding the bloody knife. Yeah.
Oh. Cute. We have a highlight chat from Mark Smith.
Mark Smith, back again.
The Unicorn Yamaha review was fantastic. Keep the reviews a-coming.
Yeah, that thing is scary. I love that guitar. I haven't heard from Yamaha about it. I don't know if they know about it yet, but they will. They'll see it and freak, because that is a really good guitar. Holy crap, it's a good guitar. The only drawback of that guitar is it's got a 1 11/16 nut. That's the only drawback. Back in the way things are today, just about every company is running 1 3/4 inch nuts because people are starting to realize that narrow nut is not conducive to comfortable playing. It's old, and it's an idea that was brought about mainly because, and I said this in one of the Boucher reviews that's coming out soon. I reviewed a new Parlor by Robin. And parlor guitars in general at one point in time were mainly played by women. It was meant for the young lady. A young lady in society was often expected to be able to play the guitar. It was a thing that was very social construct thing. And young ladies learned to play the guitar, and companies like Martin and Gibson built small parlor guitars, and the 1 11/16 nut was adopted because they felt that women's hands were too small to play anything larger. And so Martin also came up with the 1 3/4 inch idea, which was somewhere between 11 and 16th and the classical width, right? So, but it was a long time in there where the 11/16 nut was everybody used it, and because another thing is that there wasn't. It was a period of time where Django didn't exist, Chet didn't exist, Doc Watson didn't exist. You know what I mean? It was before all these guys that came along and went, you can play some really shit hot stuff on a guitar. Imagine if you had more space on the fretboard, what would be possible, right? And so it's interesting that Yamaha 40 years ago was still in that category of companies that were building on the old specs. Now they're getting new guitars. They're all 1 11/16 nuts for the most part, and that's because there's more room, and there's in my opinion, when you have a wider nut, you have a greater sonic picture than you do with a narrow nut. Now this guitar here I've played tonight, he has a very odd nut width. Somewhere between, it's not 11/16, it's something a bit, a hair more. But even so, I had to go get the nut redone and spread the strings out to the widest of their ability on this neck, because there's lots of room on it, but they hadn't utilized it. So he's made a decision there that I personally think will hurt him. If he should switch to 1 11/16 on these guitars, because that's what people are playing, and that's what guys like me who play the kind of crazy shit I play. That's the amount of space that we need, and he should change it. He should definitely, or at least have a line of guitars that are only 3/4 inch nuts, 1 3/4. That would, because the odd size is just enough to aggravate someone like me who catches fingers on the strings and I can't get my finger in where I need it. Ah, damn it! And I'm touching another string. So I had the slots in the nut widened, and now it plays like a charm. But I had to get that done because I just couldn't get around it. And I wanted to because I love the sound of it and the playability of it so much. Once I had the nut spread out, boom, the thing played like a dream. So, yeah.
Call it the Batwing.
The what?
The Batwing.
Yeah, there you go. An extra.
Super chat from JJ.
JJ, sweet.
Ever seen Halcon or /Tinker guitars made in Canada?
Halcon?
Halcyon.
That's Halcyon, isn't it?
Halcyon? I don't know.
Halcyon, yeah. I have seen that name before, but I don't know a single thing about them. Sorry. I will look them up, though. Absolutely. Okay, next.
Super chat from Derek Mosier.
Derek Mosier. How you doing, buddy?
Why are gut string guitars called gut string? Because I honestly don't know.
Well, at one point in time, 180 years ago, guitar strings were made out of cat intestine. That's what they were made of. They were made out of stretched intestines and tanned, hardened, stretched, and every string was like that. It looked like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was they were wound. They had a core of something. I'm not sure what they used, but the intestines were dried out, flattened, stretched, and wound around this core, and that's what people played on. Violin strings were made out of catgut, guitar, all that stuff. So it's a literal word. It was made. They were made out of cat intestines. I don't know why cats, but that's how it worked. That's what they made it out of. And to this day, so what they use now is a nylon core, right? That's wrapped with a layer of silk, and then a very fine layer of nickel. And so that's why they sound the way they do. They don't have a metal core, as catgut never had a metal core either. So they have this nylon core, which imitates organic material. They wrap that in silk and then nickel. And so your E, A, and D strings are metal wrapped, and the G, B, and E are just raw nylon, imitating catgut. That's what it is. Interesting question. And I'm probably a bit fucked up on the fine details of that, but that's basically the story. Could be some extra shit I'm missing, but that's definitely the way it was. I've actually played catgut on fiddle.
That's kind of gross.
It is pretty interesting. Yeah.
Poor catto.
Yep. Poor cattos.
Mm-hmm. We have a super chat from Tim Bennett.
Puck right off. I bet you Coos not watching this.
Oh, he's enjoying Portuguese food.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a super chat from Tim Bennett.
Tim Bennett. Where's he at now?
One of the originals. New Delhi.
Love you, Timmy. Thank you for getting up at 3 a.m. to watch my stupid ass.
Says, thank you for last week's show. Took me back to the beginning of your channel and the reason I fell in love with your work. Hope to see you somewhere this summer, and thank you in person.
I hope so, too. I'd love to see you. Next.
Oh dear. Everything moved. Super chat from Jamie Reed.
Jamie Reed.
That night Robin was here, his reaction to you and Dave's harmonies was priceless. You guys did sound phenomenal, though.
Yeah, me and Dave have been doing it a long time, so it's...
I like watching Robin's face.
Yeah, Robin is... Robin's a musician first, and he's a great guitar player. People don't realize how good a guitar player that man is, and he just loves music. So like I've been working with him for 7-8 years now, and every time he gets around music that he loves, it's all over his face. Can't help himself. So I think we should have him pour a drink. We're going to have a little tiny smash of Nova Scotia Spirit Company Solera Rum Cream. This is a cream liqueur. And it tastes like
Right there.
Next.
A super chat from Edward Bernardo.
Yes, Edward.
Have you ever played a Cort Gold Series guitar?
No, I haven't, but I'm very familiar with Cort, and they come out of the same world as Eastman and a lot of those other Asian companies that are just kicking ass. And Cort, believe it or not, I mean, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but those guys have been building world-class guitars for at least 20 years now. Because I remember a buddy of mine who Danny Maillet, one of the best bluegrass guitar players in Canada, from Moncton, New Brunswick. He played a Taylor for a long time, like back when they were making killer guitars. This would be 25 years ago. He played a Taylor, and he gave up the Taylor for his bluegrass, his live gigs, right? Didn't sell it or anything, but he switched over to a Cort for playing in bluegrass bands. And I asked him, I said, what the hell? Really? You're not playing the Taylor anymore? And I played that guitar, that Cort Dreadnought he had. And I'm telling you, it was as fine as any D18 Martin I've ever heard. It was a mahogany guitar, and it was unbelievable. And it only cost, was stupid how much that guitar cost. Like, I think $600. And that's what he was using. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he still has it and still plays it. Still has his Taylor, I think. And I'm not exactly sure I think he might be playing a Santa Cruz Tony Rice model now. But that Cort guitar lived in his hands, played on stage by him for years. And I've seen pictures of some of the most beautiful guitars I've ever seen that were built by Cort and built by Eastman and built by Eastman, the same, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but I think the same guy owns that whole conglomeration. Eastman, Cort, Vintage. There's a huge industrial complex in China that's building all these instruments, and they're under one single corporative umbrella, right? One corporation is handling all of that. And I think I met the guy at NAMM the year the pandemic started, and yeah, they're wicked. I can't fault anyone for buying a high-end Cort or a high-end Eastman or any of those things, even the low-end ones, They are building guitars that cost $3,000 and $4,000, but you can just as well buy sometimes one that's $900 that will just blow your head off. So, again, you need to try those things out in person because they are factory instruments made. There's a lot of CNC work going on. There's a lot of companies using Plek now, the machines that use mathematics and geometry and everything to perfect the intonation and playability of the guitar and the setup and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean they're not great guitars because they're, a lot of it's handled by machinery. The men are running the machinery. So there you go, right? I think every company's in that position now, even the biggest ones, Martin and Taylor and Gibson. A lot of their lower end guitars that aren't built on benches are built by machines. The CNC. They have to. I mean, they're putting out 100,000 guitars a year. So what are you gonna do? Anywho, yes, Cort. I'm a big fan. Next,
Super chat from Terry Short.
Terry Short is here for a long time.
Again. Journey carbon fiber travel guitars, yes or no?
No. Sorry. I just I've come across them a couple of times and I found them to be incredibly heavy. Like incredibly heavy. I would not want to hold that on my shoulder all night. And I didn't think they sounded that great. They're okay, but I still, and I say this over and over again, and it has nothing to do with anything except my own personal musical taste, is that Close builds the best carbon fiber neck-off guitar that you can buy. End of story. No more discussion. I've never seen another travel guitar, right, that comes apart. I've never seen one ever that sounds like Close. Never. So, is what it is. I mean, Journey. They're well made. They're pretty. They're well made. They have a ingenious system. But I just found them to be really heavy, and the action wasn't good, and they just didn't sound as good as a Close or anything. They sounded like a travel guitar, right? Which really generally don't sound that good because they don't have a good neck joint, right? That's what it comes down to. So Close somehow beat all that. I don't know how the hell they did it because their neck joint's super simple. I don't know what they did, but they nailed it. It's the only one I've ever seen that I would play on stage is Close. The Journey, they're not bad. They're not bad at all, but they're just, for me, can't do it. Sorry. Anyhow, next.
Super chat from Mr. Agrigan Gork.
Agrigan Gork, my friend.
Hey bud, hey Ginger. I recently purchased an Amazon a P-Bass kit from Solo Guitars. With some fine-tuning from many angles, I have a sweet bass for $199.
Sweet. I've heard about those, yeah. Yeah, it's true. If you get one of those cheap kits and you know what you're doing and you put it together and you put the right electronics in it, you're going to have a great instrument. Yeah, I have no doubt that it probably just absolutely kicks ass. You probably had to do, a few things to it, as you would anything like that. It comes to you in pieces. But, yeah, I have no doubt. No doubt. Okay, next.
Super chat from Neil Hudson.
Neil Hudson.
Your rendition of Trilogy was incredible. Thank you. There is talk of a concert with Who's Who involved. I vote for Canada Day.
Yeah, I've been hearing some rumblings online about a show for Gord. I wish they'd asked me to go. I know I don't belong there. You get guys like, Bryan Adams and all that shit showing up. I think old fat boy from Nova Scotia should go for one song. Mm-hmm. I'd love to. That would be one of my dreams come true is to get to tribute him in that way. But by the same token, like I'm doing 3 nights at the Cohen next spring with full orchestra. Symphony Nova Scotia and I are going to do another run of shows of Lightfoot songs, and so I'll get to do it one way or the other. I just won't get to do it on a national stage, I suppose. But it's okay. Gord knows how much we love him. So yeah, there we go. Okay, next.
Mm-hmm. Super chat from Clarence J.
God damn, that rum's good. Holy crap, that's beautiful. Solera Rum Cream.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
Clarence J.
Is that new?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Welcome, Clarence.
I just bought an Eastman E20D from Stang Guitars. I also own 3 Normans, and they're my favorite guitars.
Sweet. My Norman just came in today. I'll be able to see it.
Where is it?
It's in Bedford.
Oh.
They had to bring it all the way in from Western Quebec. So yeah, I'll be seeing mine over the next couple days sometime, I hope. So yeah, the E20D. I'm a huge fan of Eastman, and there's an E. I don't know if it's a 40 or a 50. It's the most ornate dreadnought that they do in that model range. It's got the like the torch head, the torch inlaid on the headstock. It's got abalone around the edge. They're beautiful. It's sunburst. It's the only ones I've ever seen. I want one of those so bad. So bad. That's a guitar that I've got to review on here. So the 20 is more like a 28, basically. But you can't go wrong with those things. They're wicked. I got we're up to four. We're up to 4 Eastman mandolins now. I've got my 2 that I've been playing for years. Ginger has one, and I just bought another one that I just couldn't leave in the store. Mainly because it was my friend Mr. Sachin in Regina closed his shop after decades, and he had it there, and I bought it at a huge discount, and as a souvenir of him and his shop, but also because it was a wicked, wicked mandolin. And so it's in here. Yeah, huge Eastman fan. And I know Eastman will never have anything to do with me because they're so fucking big that they don't need me. They don't need anybody. Like I said, that complex over in China that is made up of 10 or 15 different companies, they don't need anybody. They're selling millions of guitars. The guy that I met that runs Eastman, that's the guy I was talking about just a minute ago. When I met him at NAMM, the year that I met him, so that would have been 2019, his company, get this is going to blow your fucking mind. His company and group of companies, which includes Eastman, right? In 2019, they sold 1.2 million guitars. 1.2 million in 1 year. All of his companies combined, right? It's like he walked in there to the Boucher booth, dressed in a 3-piece suit, little tiny Chinese gentleman, and just like he just didn't give a shit, right? He loved Robin. He buys wood from Robin. That's how the connection is. He buys wood from Robin. He's actually bought whole Boucher guitars from Robin to sell in China. He's a huge fan of Robin Boucher. But Robin and I even tried to talk to him about, if I could do anything with Eastman. It was a no-go. He was very polite. He didn't tell us to fuck off or anything. But he just didn't bite. He just wanted to come in, see Robin's guitars, talk to him about potentially, buying more tops, whatever, and that was it. And he walked out, and it was just amazing. But that guy is a bazillionaire, right? Because he loves guitars. That's all he owns. His guitar, musical instrument companies is all he owns. And he was the big boy. He was the big boss. And it was cool meeting him. But I just wanted so bad to be able to just sit down with him and say, listen, please let me rep at Eastman. With that being said, we didn't have this channel then. The channel didn't start until after the pandemic happened. So I didn't have that going for me at that point in time. I was just some fucking touring arsehole folk guy, right? But now we have a bigger voice, all of us, right, about these things. And I'm still, if anyone is out there that knows how to get in touch with Eastman, or has somebody who might, anything, put them in touch with us, because I would love nothing more than to talk about them. I'm going to be reviewing their mandolins this year. When I get, I'm still a bit behind on a little bit behind, not as bad as it was, but when I get down, finished everything, I'm going to start going through the shit that's here in the studio. And my Eastman mandolins are my prized possessions. So they'll be reviewed. All of the ones that are before them here, I'll probably do them all at once. And yeah, so anyhow, Eastman rocks. Good on you. Okay, next.
Super chat from Alan Fry.
Alan Fry.
Do you use any effects pedals in your live show?
I do not.
You don't really do anything, just plug into the amp, eh?
That's it.
That's it.
No, I don't use them. Mainly because I already sound like shit, and if you put a pedal in, you sound like shit twice. So I just go once into the amp. Okay, next.
There's a request for you to play some Mando right now. Is it nearby? we have hold music?
So this is the Eastman I bought from Sachin. Dead strings and all.
Just break a string.
Old strings and all. But there you go. Jeez, that's 2 Mandos that broke an E string on in the last little while. But what a friggin' wicked instrument this is. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And it was only, I think I only give about $800 or $900 for it. It was $1,500 regularly. And I just couldn't leave it there. It was one of those instruments that it's like, if I don't buy that, I'm going to regret it. And, yeah, they make fantastic mandolins. There's just nothing, there's no way around it. They make one of the best production mandolins in the world. There's just nobody like them. They started out making, that's what they do the best. It's carved instruments, right? So they initially gained fame as cello builders and archtop guitar builders. Then they branched out into mandolins, and then they branched out into flat tops. And, yeah, they kick ass. So, yeah. Any more super chats?
Yeah,
Okay, give us to them.
Or something like that. A super chat from Matt Manning.
Matt.
Mm-hmm. Rank the following: Martin 00028, Guild D55, and a Yari WY1.
Well, the Guild is going to be number 1. The Yari is going to be number 2, and the Martin's last. That would be my stack. The D55, if you can get one that's perfect, that's working the way it should, they're one of the best guitars in the world. And Yari you can't go wrong with. And Martin will be the most inconsistent one of the 3. So there you go. Okay, next.
Super chat from Larry Reinders.
Larry Reinders, local Larry.
Mm-hmm. He's referencing the Gord concert. He says Gord would want you there.
Yeah, poor old Gordy. Oh well. Okay, next. Anybody?
That is the end of these super chats.
All right. Well, I got a rather difficult question for you tonight. I thought about this for a while, and it's so interesting that we were talking about mandolins several times during the show. So I'm going to play you a tune. Hopefully we don't get dinged for this. We probably won't. But I'm going to play an instrumental that's very famous. And mind you, I would play it on the mandolin, but the mandolin just busted a string. So I'll play it on the guitar instead. But it's a tune by an old acquaintance of mine who I love dearly. He's 88 years old now. And as far as I know, last I heard, he's in the hospital and he's not doing too well. And one of the greatest mandolin players and composers of all time. And wrote this tune here. Mandolin tunes ever. It's called the New Camptown Races. Who wrote the New Camptown Races? This is going to be pretty obscure unless you're a bluegrasser or a mandolin player or anything. But that tune's been around. He wrote that tune, holy shit, way back in the 50s, the 60s, and it's one of the classic mandolin tunes of all time. The New Camptown Races. Who wrote that?
Well, I don't know, but there are lots of guesses.
Okay.
The first one is David Grisman.
No, but you're in the right family. Grisman was influenced by this guy.
Ready? Norman Blake.
Also another person influenced by this guy.
Bill Monroe.
Now, that was this guy's major influence. He worshipped Monroe and he tried to play just like Monroe.
Frank Wakefield.
There you go. Who had Frank Wakefield?
Flying Curls.
Sweet. I met Flying Curls on the road.
Oh, nice.
You were number 16 flying. And who's next?
Norman Aben.
Was it Norman?
Aben.
Oh, cool. How do you spell that?
Norman.
Yes.
A-B-E-N.
Oh, okay. Norman Aben, you are number 17. So there we go. We're going to probably accelerate this a little bit, I think, as we go along. I want to try to get this prize out in between summer and fall.
We found some cool merch in the garage the other day.
Yeah, we did. So that'll be part of the prize pack.
Some hats and shirts.
I know Yeri Alvarez was kind enough to provide us an amazing guitar last year. I think there's a potential that, well, all of my partners are so good to us, and there's a vast possibility that we're gonna have those guys involved with the prize pack this year. And
I think Ian Russler just got here. He wants us to start over.
Oh, did he? Yeah. He would have got that for sure, because he's a Mando pig like me. So yeah. Anyhow, I'm glad you came back with us this Wednesday night. We're gonna have how many more we got? Just one more. Then I'm heading for Nashville, etc. And some of my buddies right there, Morning Star from Cape Breton, Alex and Richard Poulette. Love this. I love these guys. Nothing better than hearing them guys singing Mi'kmaq, man. Oh, unbelievable. I played on this record. I played fiddle and mandolin and guitar on this cut. Anyhow, we love you guys, and thanks for supporting String Theory, Guitar Stuff with John, all the other things that go on the channel, Life and Music, which I think I'm gonna start doing some more Life and Music, because I'm not dead yet. So,
as it turns out,
and things happen, and they need to be talked about. So you may be seeing episode 82 come out pretty soon, and I'll let you'll know. It'll be up. We'll tell you about it. And we love you, and thanks to all of my partners and all of you guys, and looking forward to seeing Stephen Baker next weekend. We're going to hang out and drive across the country together. It's going to be wicked. Anyhow, We love you always, and we'll see you soon. And the lovely Ginger, thank you for putting up with me and all of us and all the time. Well, me all the time. She can get away from you guys, but there's no fucking escape from me. But love you guys. See you next week.